Welcome back to Stoic Spirit. Have you ever seen a man, one who isn't rich, famous, or even conventionally attractive, yet women seem effortlessly drawn to him? You might wonder, what does he have that others don't? Is it luck? Is it charm? The truth is, it's none of those things. It's something deeper, something most men overlook. It's psychology. Attraction isn't just about looks, money, or social status. It's about how you make her feel on an instinctual, subconscious level. Women aren't drawn to what you say. They're drawn to the energy you bring into a room, the way you carry yourself, and the unspoken psychological signals you send. Most men waste time focusing on external factors, buying expensive clothes, memorizing pickup lines, or chasing validation. But the men who truly stand out do something different. They understand and apply psychological triggers that work on a woman's mind without her even realizing it. That's what we're breaking down today. 10 powerful psychological triggers that make women gravitate toward you naturally, without force, without games, and without desperation. And here's the best part. Once you master these, you'll never need to chase again, because women will be drawn to you in a way that feels completely organic. Stick around, because trigger number 10 is the most underrated yet the most powerful of them all. Most men ignore it, yet it's the key to unlocking effortless attraction. So, if you're ready to transform the way women respond to you, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive in. Number 1. The power of uncertainty: why women can't resist mystery. Most men unknowingly kill attraction by being too predictable. They answer texts immediately, share everything about themselves too soon, and always make themselves available. But here's the truth: mystery is magnetic. Women, like all humans, are wired to be intrigued by the unknown. It's why people binge-watch TV shows with cliffhangers. It's why we can't resist puzzles or unanswered questions. We crave the things that keep us guessing. Now, apply this to attraction. If a woman already knows what you'll say, how you'll act, and when you'll reply, she stops wondering. And when she stops wondering, she stops feeling drawn to you. Example: imagine two men texting a woman. Man A responds instantly every time, shares his whole schedule, always available. Man B responds when he feels like it, shares just enough to be interesting, but not everything. Leaves her wondering. Who do you think keeps her interest longer? Practical takeaway: don't be too available. If she texts, don't drop everything. Continue your day and respond on your time. If she asks, "What are you up to?" don't list every detail. Instead, say, "Just handling some things, might tell you later." Avoid oversharing too soon. Let her discover you in layers. Because here's the secret: the moment she figures you out, attraction starts to fade. But when you remain a little unpredictable, she'll keep thinking about you long after you've left the room. Have you ever noticed how a little mystery keeps people hooked? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your take. Number 2. The emotional roller coaster effect. Keep her engaged. Attraction isn't built on perfection. It's built on emotion. Women don't just want a man who's nice. They want a man who makes them feel something. Think about the movies women love the most: romantic dramas, unpredictable love stories, emotional roller coasters. These aren't just coincidences. They crave the highs and lows, the thrill of uncertainty, the excitement of not knowing what comes next. Example: imagine two different types of men on a date. Man A: he's polite, predictable, agrees with everything she says, never challenges her. Man B: he teases her a little, playfully disagrees, makes her laugh, and keeps her guessing. Who do you think she remembers? Who do you think makes her feel alive? The truth is, a little unpredictability is exciting. The most attractive men don't just go with the flow. They know how to spark emotions. Practical takeaway: playfully challenge her. If she says, "I love this song," don't just say, "Me too." Instead, tease her. "Really? That's your favorite? I expected better taste from you." Say it with a smirk. Shift between intensity and lightness. Have deep, thoughtful conversations, but also moments of fun and teasing. Contrast makes things interesting. Be unpredictable. Instead of always texting "good morning," switch it up. Instead of dinner and a movie, surprise her with something unexpected. Because here's the truth: attraction isn't about being perfectly smooth, it's about making her feel. Now, let's hear from you. What's the most exciting conversation you've ever had with someone? Drop a comment below. Number 3. The scarcity effect. Women want what's hard to get. Attraction isn't just about looks, money, or charm, it's about perceived value. And the truth is, people want what they can't easily have. Think about it. Luxury cars, exclusive clubs, high-end watches. What do they all have in common? Not everyone can access them. Scarcity creates desire, and the same principle applies to attraction. Example: limited edition sneakers sell out within minutes, not because they're the best shoes ever made, but because they're rare. Not everyone can get them. That feeling of exclusivity makes them desirable. Now apply that to yourself. If you're always available, always texting first, always giving away your time, what message does that send? That your time is cheap. But a man who is selective with his time and attention instantly becomes more valuable. Psychological proof. A study in behavioral economics found that people naturally assign more value to things that are scarce. This applies to relationships as well. If a woman feels like she's competing for your time, she will naturally desire it more. Have you ever noticed how women seem more interested in men who aren't chasing them? That's because those men trigger the scarcity effect, whether intentionally or not. Practical takeaway: be selective. Not every woman deserves unlimited access to you. She has to earn your time, have standards. Just because she's attractive doesn't mean she qualifies for your attention. Ask yourself, does she bring value to my life? Never be too eager. If you chase, she'll assume you're like every other man trying to win her over. Instead, let her feel like she's winning you over. Create a life that keeps you busy. If you're truly focused on your goals, your time will naturally become scarce, and women will feel it. Women respect men who know their worth, so start carrying yourself like you're the prize, because when you do, she'll see you that way too. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed how people value things more when they're rare? Drop a comment below. Being rare is attractive. But what happens when you sound rare? That's where your voice comes into play. Number 4. Deep voice, slow speech, the hidden attraction factor. Most men focus on what they say, but the truth? How you say it often matters more. Your voice, tone, and pace send subconscious signals that women instantly pick up on before they even process your words. Why it works. Science proves that a deep, steady voice naturally signals confidence, strength, and authority. In contrast, a high-pitched or rushed voice can make you seem nervous, uncertain, or even weak. Imagine 2 men walk into a room. One speaks quickly, his voice slightly high, his words tumbling over each other. He sounds anxious, forgettable. The other man speaks slowly, deliberately. His voice carries a calm, deep resonance. He doesn't rush, doesn't seek approval. He simply owns the space. Which one do you think people will pay attention to? Example: think of actors like Morgan Freeman or Clint Eastwood. Their voices alone command attention. They don't need to yell or rush. They pause, let their words settle, and make every sentence count. Now compare that to someone who speaks too fast, stumbles over words, or fills every silence with and One is captivating. The other is easily ignored. Psychological proof. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that men with deeper voices were perceived as more attractive, dominant, and capable leaders. Women, without even realizing it, are drawn to voices that project certainty and composure. It's primal. It signals protection, confidence, and status. Practical takeaway: slow down your speech. When you talk fast, it signals anxiety. Take your time. Let your words land. Lower your tone slightly, not unnaturally deep, but enough to sound grounded and in control. Silence is power. Don't rush to fill every gap. A well-placed pause makes you sound more confident and in control. Practice voice control. Record yourself speaking. Are you rushing, mumbling, speaking too high? Awareness is the first step to improvement. Your voice alone can make or break how people perceive you. So next time you speak, own your words, control your tone, and let your presence do the rest. What do you think? Have you ever noticed how a man's voice affects his presence? Drop a comment below. Mastering your voice is a silent way to command attention, but what happens when you remove yourself entirely? That's where the real test of attraction begins. Number 5. The confidence of walking away, the ultimate test. The strongest negotiating tool in business, life, and attraction, the ability to walk away. Most men fail this test. A woman pulls back and they panic. She becomes distant and they chase. She loses interest and they try to fix it. But here's the truth. The moment you prove you can walk away without hesitation, you flip the power dynamic. Why it works. People don't value what's always available. They value what they could lose. When a man clings, begs, or over-explains, he tells her, "You're more important than my self-respect. I'll tolerate your disinterest just to keep you around. I need you more than you need me." And that kills attraction instantly. But the man who can walk away, he becomes unforgettable. Example: imagine two men dating the same woman. The first man senses her pulling away. He gets needy, sends long texts, overcompensates, and desperately tries to win her back. The second man notices the same shift and does nothing. He mirrors her energy. If she pulls back, he lets her. If she loses interest, he moves on. Now let's pause for a second. Who do you think she starts thinking about at night? The one who desperately chases, or the one who values himself enough to walk away? The reality is, the second man didn't lose her. He made her question if she lost him. And the moment a woman starts questioning your absence, you've already won. Why it's so powerful? Women are instinctively drawn to high-value men, and high-value men operate from abundance, not scarcity. A woman doesn't want a man who needs her. She wants a man who chooses her, but only if she meets his standards. Most men think attraction is about proving yourself. It's not. It's about being willing to walk away when you're not valued. Because a woman's biggest fear isn't rejection, it's losing access to a man she respects. Real-life scenario: picture this. You've been seeing someone and suddenly she starts becoming distant. Most men would ask if something is wrong, try to win her back, accept breadcrumbs just to stay in her life. A high-value man, he does none of that. He recognizes the shift, steps back, and lets her feel his absence. And here's what usually happens. If she truly valued you, she comes back. If she doesn't, she was never yours to begin with. Either way, you win. Practical takeaway: if she starts pulling away, don't react with desperation, react with certainty. The moment you show that you can remove yourself without hesitation, the power shifts. Suddenly, it's not about her losing interest, it's about her questioning what she just lost. A woman's biggest fear isn't rejection, it's losing access to a man she respects. Walking away isn't about playing games, it's about refusing to be an option when you should be a priority. And that changes everything. Because here's the paradox: the moment she realizes you don't need her is the moment she starts wanting you more. Question for you: have you ever walked away from a situation and suddenly became more desirable? Drop your experience in the comments. True power isn't in chasing, it's in knowing when to walk away with your head held high. And never fear walking away. Number 6. The power of controlled vulnerability. Most men get this wrong. They either suppress all emotions, acting cold, robotic, and distant, overshare everything, dumping their fears, insecurities, and worries onto a woman too soon. Neither works. The real power? Controlled vulnerability. This means showing depth without looking weak. Why it works? Women aren't attracted to men who never open up, but they're also not drawn to men who emotionally unload too soon. They're drawn to a man who is composed but human. A man who has layers but doesn't seek validation through his struggles. The right balance makes a man irresistibly magnetic. Example: 3 men handle hardship differently. Man number 1, the stonewall, pretends nothing affects him, never opens up, acts like emotions are weakness. Result: women see him as detached and emotionally unavailable. Man number 2, the oversharer. On the second date, he starts talking about his childhood traumas, past heartbreaks, and deepest fears. Result: women feel overwhelmed, burdened, and turned off. Man number 3, the balanced man. He doesn't suppress emotions, but he also doesn't overexpose them. Instead, he shares small, meaningful insights about his life, but always from a place of strength. Who do you think she's most drawn to? The balanced man. The one who shows he has a past but doesn't let it define him. The key shift: vulnerability isn't about seeking sympathy, it's about owning your experiences without them owning you. It's the difference between "I had a rough childhood, I struggle with trusting people" sounds like a cry for help. "I had a rough childhood, it taught me to be independent" sounds like resilience. See the difference? One is needy, one is powerful. Real-life scenario. You're on a date and she asks, "What's the hardest thing you've ever been through?" A weak response? "I've been through a lot. I don't know if I can even talk about it." Overly guarded. A needy response? "I just feel like no one understands me. It's been really tough." Emotionally draining. A balanced response? "I've had my challenges like everyone, but I learned that the way you handle setbacks is what really matters." Boom. You just showed depth, wisdom, and strength all in one sentence. Practical takeaway: share personal stories but keep them composed. Let her see your depth, but don't make her responsible for your emotions. Show strength in how you handle setbacks. Don't talk about your struggles like you're drowning. Talk about them like you conquered them. Let her see your scars, but also let her see how you healed. Because the most attractive man is the one who embraces his past, but is never defined by it. Question for you. Have you ever found that sharing just the right amount made a woman more interested? Drop your experience in the comments. Your past doesn't define you. How you rise from it does. And own your story. But showing depth is only half of the equation. The other half? How you carry yourself physically. Number 7. The alpha posture. Owning your presence. Before you say a word, before you introduce yourself, she's already judged you. Not by what you wear, not by what you say, but by how you carry yourself. Women are biologically wired to read body language. They subconsciously scan for signals of strength, confidence, and dominance. A man's posture, movement, and presence tell a woman everything she needs to know about him before he even speaks. Why it works. Imagine two men walking into a room. Man number 1, hunched shoulders, shuffling steps, avoiding eye contact. Man number 2, upright posture, slow, deliberate movements, steady gaze. Who do you think commands more attention? It's always the second man. Why? Because posture isn't just about looks, it's about psychology. Studies show that expansive body language signals dominance and confidence. Meanwhile, closed-off, slouched posture signals submission and insecurity. And here's the kicker, women feel this instantly. Example, think about James Bond. He never rushes, never fidgets, never looks uncertain. Every movement is deliberate, controlled, purposeful. Now compare that to a man who fidgets with his hands, looks around nervously, shuffles his feet while speaking. One man radiates confidence, the other, weakness. And women can sense this instantly. Real-life scenario, you're at a cafe waiting in line. A woman glances at you. Do you slouch, look away, and pretend not to notice? Shift nervously and check your phone? Stand tall, hold eye contact for a second, then look away slowly? The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. Women are attracted to men who own their space. Practical takeaway, keep your shoulders back and chin up. This instantly makes you appear taller, stronger, and more in control. Slow down your movements. Rushing signals nervous energy. Move with calm, deliberate precision. Make eye contact, but don't overdo it. Look, hold for a moment, and then break away naturally. Take your time when entering a room. The man who moves with purpose commands attention without demanding it. Look comfortable in your own skin. Confidence isn't about looking tough, it's about looking at ease. Challenge for you. Next time you enter a social setting, focus only on your posture. Stand tall. Move deliberately. Own your space. Then watch how people, especially women, respond differently to you. The man who owns his space owns the room. Walk like you belong. And walk like a man who knows exactly who he is. Number 8. The power of indifference. Why it drives women crazy. Nothing is more magnetic than a man who is unbothered. The man who doesn't react emotionally. The man who doesn't seek approval. The man who isn't easily swayed by her actions. Women are wired to test a man's emotional resilience. She cancels plans last minute. Do you get upset? She takes hours to reply. Do you double text? She seems distant. Do you start overcompensating? Most men fail these tests. They react. They chase. They seek reassurance. And the moment she senses this, the attraction starts to fade. Why it works. Women don't want a man who crumbles under pressure. They want a man who is so secure in himself that he doesn't rely on their attention to feel valuable. A man who moves forward regardless of how she acts. Example, 2 men are texting a woman. She suddenly takes 6 hours to respond. Man number 1 gets frustrated, checks his phone constantly, sends a passive-aggressive text. Man number 2 doesn't even notice. He's too busy living his life. Which man do you think she starts thinking about? It's always the second man. Why? Because women are drawn to the man who doesn't make her the center of his world. Real life scenario. You go on a date. It goes well. Well, you part ways. The weak man panics, asks, "Did I do something wrong?" Tries harder. The strong man accepts it, matches her energy, moves forward without hesitation. And guess what happens? Indifference works because it shifts her focus. Suddenly, she's not sure where she stands with you, and uncertainty fuels attraction. Indifference works because it shifts her focus. Suddenly, she's not sure where she stands with you, and uncertainty fuels attraction. The man who doesn't give her the validation she expects becomes the man she thinks about the most. Practical takeaway. 1. Never react emotionally to small shifts in her behavior. She pulls back? Let her. 2. If she's inconsistent, don't chase, mirror her energy. She takes a day to reply, you take a day too. 3. Never seek external validation. Your worth isn't tied to her response time, her mood, or her attention. 4. Focus on your purpose, not her reactions. The moment you make her the center of your world, you lose your center. Psychologically, uncertainty fuels obsession. The moment she senses that your world doesn't revolve around her, she starts thinking about you even more. She questions why you're unaffected, and that alone makes you more intriguing than any man who desperately seeks her approval. And the man who masters indifference? He's the man women can't stop thinking about. Indifference makes her question her value in your life. But what happens when she outright rejects you? The way you handle it will either make you forgettable or unforgettable. But being willing to walk away is only part of the equation. A truly magnetic man doesn't just detach, he also knows when to connect on a deeper level. And that's where controlled vulnerability comes in. Number 9. The mastery of rejection. Confidence in any outcome. Most men fear rejection. They take it personally, let it shatter their confidence, and allow it to control their future interactions. But a man who embraces rejection and handles it with grace, that man becomes untouchable. Why? Because rejection doesn't define him. It's just part of the game. Why it works. Women subconsciously test men. Sometimes she rejects you, not because she's not interested, but because she wants to see how you react. A man who gets defensive, bitter, or needy, instant turn off. A man who shrugs it off with confidence, that's the kind of man who stands out. Example, you approach a woman, you say something charming, she rejects you. Most men, wow, okay, guess I'm not good enough. Why not? I was just being nice. Forget it, you're not even that attractive. The high-value man smirks, says your loss. Walks away, completely unbothered. Laughs, says, fair enough, and keeps moving. Guess what? The moment you don't react emotionally, you become more attractive. Because confidence isn't just in getting the yes, it's in handling the no effortlessly. Real-life scenario. You're texting a woman, the conversation is flowing, then suddenly she ghosts you or says she's not feeling it. The insecure man texts again, double texts, asks, did I do something wrong? The confident man leaves it, moves forward, doesn't let it affect his energy. And here's what happens. When she realizes you're completely unfazed, she starts thinking about you more. Because women expect men to react emotionally. When you don't, it intrigues them. Practical takeaway. 1. Expect rejection. It's part of life. No one wins 100% of the time. The strongest men, they keep going anyway. 2. Keep a playful, unshaken attitude. Rejection isn't personal, it's situational. She's not rejecting you, she's rejecting the moment. 3. Never let it shake your confidence. Confidence isn't about winning every interaction, it's about being completely okay with any outcome. 4. Shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, I hope she likes me, think, I'll see if she's worth my time. 5. If she rejects you, don't argue, agree with her. Smile, nod, and move on. She won't forget how smoothly you handled it. Because here's the truth. A man who fears rejection will always be limited by it. But a man who embraces it, he becomes unstoppable. But the ultimate skill that separates high-value men isn't just handling rejection, it's mastering themselves at the deepest level. Number 10. The hidden power of self-control. This is the rarest and most underrated trait of all. A man who controls his emotions, desires, and impulses, who doesn't let external situations dictate his reactions, immediately commands respect and attraction. Why? Because self-control signals dominance. It shows that you're not easily swayed, that you don't act out of desperation, and that you dictate your own life. And in a world where most men chase, react, and seek validation, the man who remains calm, composed, and in control stands out effortlessly. Why it works? Men who chase aggressively, whether it's for attention, validation, or intimacy, always lose. The moment a woman senses that a man needs her to feel complete, her attraction plummets. But a man who moves at his own pace, who doesn't rush or seek approval, that man becomes irresistible. Example: imagine two men interested in the same woman. Man number one texts her constantly, compliments her excessively, and tries to move things forward as quickly as possible. He's predictable, he's too eager, he's easy to get. Man number two responds when he wants to, keeps conversations intriguing, doesn't rush the process. She senses that she needs to put in effort to keep his attention. Who do you think she'll be drawn to? Women aren't drawn to availability, they're drawn to mystery, patience, self-restraint. A man who isn't desperate to get her is a man she wants to chase. Real-life scenario: you're on a date, it's going well. She's smiling, touching her hair, engaging in conversation. Most men, they jump in too fast, trying to lock in the next date, escalating too soon, pushing for more. A man with self-control, he enjoys the moment. He lets her wonder when she'll see him next. Instead of saying, "When can I see you again?" he ends the date at its peak, leaving her wanting more. Practical takeaway: 1. Be patient. Don't rush anything. Let attraction build naturally. Don't push, don't force. 2. Control your impulses. The urge to text first, explain yourself, or prove your worth, resist it. Confidence is in restraint. 3. Let women come to you on their terms. The less you seek validation, the more you'll naturally receive it. 4. Master the art of walking away. If someone isn't showing you interest, don't fight for it. Keep your focus on your life, your goals, and your purpose. Because here's the reality: the man who chases desire is controlled by it. The man who masters self-control, he controls everything. Final thoughts. The irresistible mindset. Attraction isn't about tricks, games, or manipulation. It's about mastery of yourself, your emotions, and your energy. Because here's the truth: women don't fall for men who chase. They fall for men who carry themselves like they don't need to. Imagine waking up every day without questioning your worth. Imagine walking into a room knowing your presence alone is enough. Imagine knowing that no matter what happens, you remain unshaken. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't something you chase, it's something you embody. And the moment you truly understand this, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. That's true power. That's what separates men who struggle from men who effortlessly attract. And that's why you never need to chase. You only need to embody the kind of man she naturally gravitates toward. When you stop chasing, stop proving, and stop overthinking, you naturally start drawing people in. Stop chasing. Let her chase you. Stop over-explaining. Own your presence. Stop fearing rejection. Walk with quiet confidence. The difference between a man who struggles in relationships and a man who effortlessly attracts isn't looks, money, or luck. It's mindset. What this means for you: imagine waking up without worrying about whether she'll text back. Imagine walking into a room knowing you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Imagine holding your ground even when she pulls away, because you know your value doesn't depend on her validation. That's true power. And when you master this, something incredible happens. People start treating you differently. Women respect you more. Your presence commands attention without you even trying. Because confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the one who knows exactly who he is without needing to explain it. Your challenge: the next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, explain yourself, or seek validation, pause. Ask yourself, am I reacting out of insecurity, or am I moving with quiet confidence? The difference between men who struggle and men who thrive isn't in what they do, it's in how they carry themselves. And when you move through the world with quiet confidence, people can't help but take notice. Because the man who understands how women think never needs to chase. Which of these psychological triggers have you seen in action? Drop a comment. I read every response. If this resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and keep mastering yourself. Thank you for watching. Your time, presence, and growth mean more than words can say. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and own your power.